Castle Cornet dominates the southern approach to St. Peter Port Harbour, a harbour that has been growing steadily to meet the increasing demands of commercial and recreational users. The latest phase is nearly completed. 100,000 tons of rock have been cleared from immediately north of the main pier, and the reclaimed area has been enclosed in massive granite arms to form an 800-slip marina. Where the breakwaters meet is a tidal gate, which ensures a minimum depth of 2.2 meters within the marina. Between the harbour and the new marina, the main jetty has been widened to provide a mustering area for freight and passenger vehicles and a large car park. With the cooperation of the various states of Guernsey departments concerned, the 1987 International Powerboat Week will make its home here. 5 days to go, and the transformation has begun. Half the car park has been cleared, and the first of many tents have been erected. Early arrivals Sun International from Monaco, Annabella from Italy, and Rocky from France are found a temporary corner. As the preparations continue through the week, exhibitors are laying out their areas, tent interiors are taking shape, more tents are going up, temporary telephone lines are being installed throughout the complex, and contractors are ensuring that electrical power is available at the hundreds of points of demand. In the event office, Chairman Dick Ridout is dealing with the daily problems. He, assisted by Event Secretary Dave Corson and the rest of the organizing committee, are to deal with thousands of inquiries in the next few days. Already there is activity around the boats as the complex development continues to grow. The last of the big tents is in place. 2 days to go. Half the area is still a car park, but the exhibition and control compound is nearly completed. Powerboat Week officials stand by as Channel Island Ferries freighter the Giselle brings the giant mobile kitchen, which will serve the Commodore Club, an exclusive restaurant in a tent. Exhibitors continue their final touches as organizers, including Richard Ozanne, president of Guernsey Tourist Board, make a round of inspection. The longest bar in Guernsey is soon alive with customers as day one arrives. Exhibitors include Ego Motifs. They'll soon be busy embroidering the event logo on a range of clothing and caps. Officials check the glittering mass of cups and trophies and prepare for the routine of registration. The majority of competitors will arrive with their boats this evening aboard the specially chartered Giselle. Day 2 sees the start of a continuous flow of competitors through the registration tent.
Could be very horrible. It's all right.
Most team members know each other. Many had been at Cowes last week. The registration procedure covers more than just signing in. International powerboat racing is controlled by many regulations covering both safety and competition, and the registration officials must ensure that these are complied with. Further regulations, mostly concerned with safety, call for each boat to be examined by official scrutineers.
The job of the scrutineer is to check the safety equipment on the boat and that the boat is safe to race. Previous to the scrutineering and prior to the boat coming here, it should have been measured by an official measurer, which will show that the boat number is the correct size, that the advertising complies with our regulations. But our job today really is to check that firstly everything is tight on the engine, we have no loose wires, and that it has been prepared nicely and to our very high standard, which of course we run to in this country and in fact in Europe. What we will be doing today is filling in a list which will show that navigation lights are working, that the controls are in order, that we have got this measurement certificate, and also fire extinguishers, that they are in good condition. Also, flares, we have a pretty high standard of requirements for the flares. In particular, this boat which we have just done, he is deficient of a few, and of course he has got to go out and buy them. The other thing, of course, we do check, which is most important, is that the life buoy and the life rafter aboard, that they have been tested and are not out of date, in other words, that they are safe to use. And of course, most important of all, crash hats and life jackets have to be the various British specification numbers, and really, that is our job today.
Scrutineering is under the supervision of the Royal Yachting Association, with rules set out by Union Internationale Motor Nautique, the governing body of international powerboat racing. After scrutiny, the boat must remain in the compound except for racing, unless permission to leave it is granted by the senior scrutineer. A refueling area has been established at the offshore end of the compound, where safety precautions are rigidly observed, and the Guernsey Fire Brigade keeps a watching brief. This evening, all contestants are the guests of the States of Guernsey at a vin d'honneur, held around the swimming pool at Beausejour Leisure Centre. It is an attractive and unusual setting, and it's probably just as well that those attending were used to treating water with respect. The principal trophies are on display, including the magnificent new Guernsey Gold Cup. Richard Ozanne, president of Guernsey's Tourist Board, extends the official welcome. In a few moments, contestants will adjourn to the Beausejour Theatre for the week's briefing, chaired by Trevor Jones, Commodore of the hosting Guernsey Yacht Club.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my very, very great pleasure on behalf of the flag officers and committee and all the members of the Guernsey Yacht Club to welcome you very warmly to Guernsey once again for the International Powerboat Week. Last year we had the great pleasure of welcoming, I think it was 11 nations, and I'm very, very happy to say that this evening amongst us we have 14 nations represented.
Speakers include Richard Ridout, chairman of the organising committee,
Hopefully we'll be raced about 5 o'clock.
Dave Corson, the event secretary, and Robbie Dodsworth, the safety officer. Safety is to be the key word of the week, and safety considerations are dramatically to influence the course of the event. Day 4, Wednesday, September 9, the first race day. 3 cranes are in operation during the morning. Although start time is 5 p.m., the tidal conditions dictate that all competing boats must leave the marina by midday in order to clear the sill of the entrance. Boats take up temporary moorings in the main harbour, and mechanics continue their fine-tuning throughout the day.
Welcome to the first race of our Guernsey International Powerboat Week this year.
At 2 p.m., Dick Ridout opens the briefing for race 1. Weather and tidal conditions are covered in detail. These factors play an important part in race tactics, especially in Guernsey waters, where the large tidal range causes powerful currents. The safety coverage is explained. There will be guard boats at each turning mark and controlling each spectator area. The lifeboat and St. John's ambulance launch will be on station at a central point of the course, and a rescue helicopter from RAF Culdrose will be in the air tracking the boats. The course is detailed, and the new UIM start procedure being used for the first time is explained. 5 o'clock and Heat 1 European Offshore Championship Class 3, 1.3 litre and Guernsey Class 3 Championship is underway. The green flag goes up and the 37 entries burst ahead of the start boat. The short chop flings the smaller boats up in the air, making a spectacular sight for the crowds lining the shore. Camera helicopters dance attendance as Group 2 thunders into action. 19 boats in classes 1 and 2 and cruisers. The rescue helicopter paces the leaders. This is to develop into a dramatic running battle for first place between the Monaco catamaran Baby Cresci, driven by Fulvio Bellavio, and the American monohull Cougar 25, being driven in this race by Guernsey's Gerald Brazier. End of lap 1, and it's Unipart in the lead, closely followed by Clark Group Racing and Magician 4. These boats are all from Group 1. Then Express and Assegai. Now Group 2 leaders. They've already lapped most of the smaller boats in Group 1. Baby Cresci leads Cougar 25, lapping Agfa Bluebird from Group 1. Class 1's Miss Ricard, and the French Euromarche Rocky. Divin from Class 2 leads the 1.3-litre La Quinta Hotel and 2-litre Clark Power Products. Then the Tolman Brothers Cougar 22 from Class 2. Richard Carr and Tracy Standish in Get Carter, a 27-foot Cougar in Class 2, streaks ahead of the 2 litres of CLBS The Business, Steve Nicol and Lyndon Trott, and Romney Marsh Marine, Colin Sleep and David Newland. Peter and Jan Armstrong power Class 2 Brute round the marker, ahead of Michael Ganaway and Peter Dredge in the 2-litre Go For It. Jersey entrants Jason Mucklow and Carl Jones in Muckers. John Hampton and Nicholas Wilcoxon in Mariner Magnum are followed by Phil and Harry Sirid in the Class 2 Priory Club. Now it's Les and Judy Salvage in the 2-litre Monopoly, and Brian Eastham and James Rouget in the 1.3-litre Kinnell Fire. As the race progresses, the chop lowers a bit to favour the catamarans. John and Terry Hedges, the red 2-litre Terrahawk, and John Moore in Chow. The Countess of Arran and Tim Cotton in Hell's Angels lead James Whitmarsh and Tony Young in Wonderfire, both in the cruiser class. OCS Do-It-All, driver Paul Anderson and navigator Clive Jones, 1.3 litres. Lady Violet Aitken and Ian Heath in the Class 2 Sleuth. Michael Frode and Graham Stewart have retired in Mercury Special. Abbey, David and John Copeman, is the lowest powered cruiser entry, just 330 horsepower. Hell's Angels is powered by 520 horsepower. 2-litre Clark Power Products, Tracy Clark and Leslie Curtis, and then it's Wonderfire again, 680 horsepower in the cruiser class. While Flying Flipper, Alan and Nigel Webb, is rated at 370 horsepower. Beyond there is Mr. T, 1.3 litres, another Jersey boat with Michael Tierney and G. Tanguy. The green 2-litre Tufnell's Parcel Express carries Jonathan Lucas and Ian Orford. And the Argo 17 Cat from Finland, and then Guernsey's Blade Runner, Anthony Jeffcott and Tony Reeve. Another Guernsey boat, Thriller, Peter Trotter and William Stewart, all in the 1.3 class. CLBS The Business puts on an exciting little display. Romney Marsh Marine again. And now the big boats are again lapping the smaller ones as Baby Creshy swings wide round the mark. But she's only just ahead of Cougar 25. Jean Jarrier and Jean-Pierre Fruitier follow in Euromarche Rocky. Then it's another cruiser, Colin Curran and Brian Champion in Agfa Copyproof. The Guernsey 4-litre Magician 4, Dave Trotter and Mark Sobrin, overtakes the cruiser Abbey. Class 2 boats Get Carter and Brute are dueling for second place behind Cougar 22. And 4-litre Hospitality Inn, crewed by Geoffrey Purvis and David Andrews, nips cheekily round the marker. Mark and Rod Cox in Stiletto follow Priory Club, both in Class 2. And then it's Brian Easton's Kinnell Fire, taking the first checkered flag of the day as he wins the 1.3-litre class with an average speed of 42.37 knots over the 39-mile course. Less than a minute behind comes Peter Wilson and Richard Pettit in Guernsey Flower Power, Mr. T and Colin Malsard and Jem McGill in Technics, with only 10 seconds separating the three. Fifth and sixth are Argo 17 Cat from Finland and Les Arches Hotel, Roy Smith and Seamer from Jersey, followed by Steve Pallant and W. Hammond in PFM, and Derek Mortimer and Embret in Delboy. John Yeoman and Kim Leachman bring Unipart into her next-to-last lap, closely followed by Assegai, David and Chris Allenby. These two have been dueling throughout. Soon it's Paul Healy and Paul Trullo in Clark Group Racing, Jay Davey and Chris Peters in Disregard, Euromarche Rocky, and the other Class 1 and 2 boats are well into their 90-mile course. At the moment, Cougar 25 is leading Baby Creshy through the Gullio Passage. The 4-litre class are running a 62-mile race. Clark Group Racing is running her next-to-last lap in the 4-litre class, which is being led at the moment by Unipart. This shot gives you some idea of the relative speeds of larger and smaller racers. Baby Creshy has crept in front of Cougar 25 yet again. As they enter their final long lap, the 1.3 litres are still coming in. This is Saint-Pierre, Derek Simpson and P. Henley of Guernsey. Clark Group Racing and Hospitality Inn enter their final lap as the water conditions change yet again. Now it's Tracy Clark and Leslie Curtis in Clark Power Products. Then John Baker and Peter Clark in Flippin' Neck, the first cruiser to finish, although not qualified for the championship. Hell's Angels gets the flag as the Countess of Arran brings her in first of the sports cruisers. Hell's Angels is a 28-foot Hunton powered by 520 horsepower of Merc cruiser. Just 13 seconds behind comes Wonderfire, a 36-foot Bonito driven by James Whitmarsh. Third place in the 2-litre class goes to Jonathan Lucas in Tufnell's Parcel Express. As COBS The Business rounds the final mark to finish fourth in the 2-litre class, Unipart, a 25-foot Puma driven by John Yeoman, streaks in to take the 4-litre honours. Now it's Romney Marsh Marine, the fifth 2-litre, followed by Go For It in sixth place. Express, Howard Retham and Barry Drinkwater, is the third 4-litre to finish. And then Hospitality Inn pits Clark Group Racing at the post for fourth place. Agfa Copyproof makes a stately arrival into second place, Cruiser Class B. Monopoly is the eighth 2-litre. Then Abbey, the only entrant in Cruiser Class A. As Hugh Durrell and Peter Langton bring the 2-litre 45 into ninth place, Class 2's Stiletto bounds past into her final lap. Out on the course, Baby Cressy and Cougar 25 continue the duel to lead Class 1, and the Tolman twins in Cougar 22 are leading in Class 2. This is a 32-foot Cougar with 800 horsepower of Mercruiser motors. That extra length is her advantage over Get Carter, a 27-foot Cougar with 3 Mercuries totaling 810 horsepower. At the winning line, Baby Cressy is happy waves and mutual congratulations as she finishes just 9 seconds ahead of Cougar 25 after 90 miles at an average speed of 68 knots. A few minutes later, Rocky roars into third place. Miss Rickard, the fourth entry, has retired. Now it's Class 2's turn for the checkered flag as Cougar 22 comes home with an average speed of 59 knots. Followed by Brute in second place and Get Carter third. In the evening, prizes for today's races are presented. Abbey, winner of National Cruiser Class A. Agfa Copyproof, second in National Cruiser Class B. Wonderfire, winner of National Cruiser Class B. Flying Flipper, second in Sports Cruiser Class C. Lady Arran and Tim Cotton of Hell's Angels, winner, Sports Cruiser Class C. Third in the 2-litre class, Tufnell's Parcel Express. Second 2-litre, Clark Power Products. And Pride of De Vere, the winning 2-litre. In the 4-litre class, Express came third. David and Chris Allenby brought Assegai into second place in the 4 litres. And Unipart took the class honours. Now Class 2 third placer, Get Carter. Second place went to Brute. And Class 2 winner was Cougar 22. Next, the big boys' Class 1 honours were taken by Baby Cressy, the 40-foot Cougar catamaran. With Cougar 25 a very close second. Jerv Brazier still awaiting the arrival from America of his 39-foot Bertram Visions of Guernsey, and John Henry Falk gets a special round of applause for lending Cougar 25 to Jerv for today's race. Third 1.3 litre was Mr. T from Jersey. Second place goes to Guernsey Flower Power 7. And in top place, reigning world champion Brian Eastham in Kinnell Fire. Thursday, day 5. Balloons, bunting and banners are evident all over the pit area as teams prepare their boats for the Pinot de Pinot decorated boat parade. Almost all the boats will be displayed to thousands of spectators as the mile-long procession moves down the historic waterfront of St. Peter Port.
Like that. Let's have a cheer for Alison.
This is a fun day, and one of the day's events is the partners' wet T-shirt competition.
Certainly hit the right place from the ship and crown.
Certainly among the high points of the week. The Commodore Club restaurant, attended to by those huge mobile kitchens we saw arriving last week, is serving a cordon bleu lunch. And then the Unipart display team announces to the public that the afternoon spectacular is underway. They are followed by the Yugo wing walking display. And then a breathtaking display of low flying by the Channel Islands Air Search aircraft Lion's Pride. Then it's time for the main event, as the band of the Grenadier Guards leads the parade through town. Some of these boats will be competing only on Sunday and have yet to experience the Guernsey waters.
Anyway, look at that big magnificent boat. Really is quite beautiful. And so they all come through. Then we see one of the Normandy and Craig, and they've done a super job together.
Elegancia de Gancia marks the end of the parade. But the fun day is far from over. The evening brings the Buck Trout Caribbean evening at the Beau Séjour swimming pool. Food, drink and fancy dress, all with a Caribbean flavor. But all that sparkling water proves too great a temptation. Saturday, day 7. Jeff Brazier has been having all kinds of problems getting his latest acquisition, Visions of Guernsey, here from America in time for this week. But it's arrived, and now the team is working flat out to prepare her for Sunday's big race.
We started to run behind time. The boat was originally due to be shipped in from Miami, and we had to fly it. First of all, we organized Flying Tigers. They put the wrong flight on, the wrong jumbo, and that put us back a few days. Ultimately, all went well, and she's here now and ready to race for the weekend. This particular hull is a boat that was built for the Americans High Points champion about 3 or 4 years ago, and we've been trying to find it ever since. It's never been raced. It's very, very quick, and we think it's very competitive.
Problems of a different kind faced Glenn Urquhart and the New Zealand team.
We got here and went out in our first race, and unfortunately we broke down. We had a gearbox problem. We managed to repair the gearboxes. We're expecting the weather to be fairly rough tomorrow, which will suit the monos. It's not really cat weather. We'll go out there and give it as hard a run as we can, even if the conditions are going to be pretty rough.
Paul Healy is wearing different colours this year.
Nice to be back out here in Guernsey after last year's performance we had, and driving for the Clark group this year has made it, you know, something to more of a feat, having them there behind you and the backing. The Wednesday race was very disappointing for us because having partly the right sea conditions that we needed, we ended with engine failure on one engine with the stator packing up. So it was a shame really, but Sunday looks very promising. The weather's going the right way, and I think we're in good chance of pulling off a first.
Technical problems also hit Agfa Bluebird in Wednesday's race, as Gina Campbell explains.
We were very unlucky on Wednesday because we were going very well when one of our electrical trim pumps went wrong and almost inverted the engine onto the deck of the boat, and in so doing unfortunately damaged all our steering equipment, so we had to retire, which was a shame. But we're looking for a much better race tomorrow because I'm sure the weather's going to suit us. The lovely sunshine and a bit of a blow, it should really suit our boat.
John Henry Falk's Cougar 25 uses Cam 2, a special racing fuel. The tanks were full when she arrived from America. Now she needs refueling, and the shipment arrives just in time.
It's very nice to be in Guernsey, and it was very interesting racing over here. The conditions, unfortunately for us being in a V-hull, were not ideal. They were good conditions out there for the catamarans, obviously, being we didn't win. But the conditions were very changeable. You'd go around a checkpoint and turn, and the water would be completely different. And we enjoyed racing out there. We needed about another 20 miles an hour on the boat, but there's always on Sunday. It's an incredible scene they've got this year. I thought last year was excellent, but this would have to be 4 times better than what they put on last year. New Zealanders would have to see it to believe it, that this could be a offshore powerboat race meeting.
Guernsey itself, I think, is a really nice venue to come to race. The Guernsey people seem to put on a lot of a good show, good venue, such as compared with a lot of other race venues that are around.
And the hospitality of the people over here couldn't be nicer.
I think the organisation has been tremendous. We're all very impressed and look forward to next year with lots of fun and love.
The wind's increasing, and the Hugo Wingwalker deserves a special award as she entertains the crowd waiting for the start of the second race in the OCR class. It's to be an inshore course, but the weather's going to make it one of the most exciting spectacles of the week. The guard boats will be doubly vigilant. So will the rescue helicopter. OCR, offshore circuit racing, is divided into 5 categories, increasing in size from the 12.5-foot A's to the 16-foot E's. Today we have entries in all categories except A, the smallest, probably just as well. E28, Nick Bosch and Peter Anstel in Panache wins the E category. D2, Tenacity, Tony Hancock and Kev Cooper top the D category. Amity Racing, C27, Dave Arthur and Andy Partlett are the first of the C's. And Paul Major and Andy Patterson win the B's in something missing. Just when our heartbeat is returning to normal, the final race in the basic class is pounding and leaping into action. class wins were achieved by Friendship Quality Cars, John Tosson and Barry Lilly, and Sure Drive, Ian Allen and Carl Tank. Gilt Edged gets second in class. Do It All is the only competitor in her class. Ian Letizier and Paul Mahy in Phantom Flash, and Honeywell places second in class. Donna James with Carol Shorto in Total Lunacy. A different spectacle takes place in the evening with a huge firework display from Castle Cornet. Sunday, day 8. And the weather, which has been so varied all week, clamps down with a vengeance. Fog, rain, heavy seas worked up by overnight winds, all combine to give the event organizers their biggest headache of the week. With great reluctance, the committee has to postpone the big race. Disappointed competitors shelter from the rain, waiting for further details. Is the week to end without its grand finale? Will the weather ease enough and soon enough to allow the race to take place later? Dick Ridout, chairman of the organizing committee, holds a press conference to give the international media representatives an update on the situation.
The 50-foot catamaran of the harbour. She was going up one side of the waves at 10 knots and down the other side at 16 knots. And she's a big old boat. The seas were 10, 15 foot, the water was coming right over the roof. There's no way whatsoever boats can run in those conditions.
The evening's gala dinner takes place on schedule, but not as scheduled, for the biggest prizes are still unearned. During the day, the committee has had to consider enormous logistical problems, as well as the actual race decisions. Tomorrow, Monday, should have been a lay day, and many contestants have planned to leave Guernsey during the day. If today's races are run tomorrow, hundreds of travel and hotel bookings must be altered. Some boats are scheduled to race at other venues later this week, so a decision can't wait till tomorrow. It must be made today. As it happens, the weather forecast resolves some of the problems. We expect rough conditions, too dangerous for all but the largest boats, and the decision has been announced. Classes 1 and 2 will race tomorrow. All other races are cancelled. The final standing of the Class 3 boats and the cruisers will be as they finished after Wednesday's races. The guest of honour is His Excellency Sir Alexander Boswell, Lieutenant Governor of Guernsey. Trumpeters of the Grenadier Guards sound the welcoming fanfare. .600 competitors and guests are enjoying a four-course meal with table service and dinner music by the Grenadier Guards. Race postponements mean that the prize giving is an abbreviated ceremony. Here, Peter Wilson and Richard Pettit, Guernsey Flower Power 7, received the trophies for second place in the 1.3-litre class, and Brian Easton and James Rouget are garlanded for winning that class in Chinel Fire. Brian, already world and British champion, now completes the hat-trick with the European title.
It's a shame that the weather's been a little bit unfavourable for the racing conditions, but I think everybody's enjoyed themselves. There's tremendous hospitality on Guernsey. People make me feel very, very welcome. And I've had a Guernsey navigator with me this year, James Rouget, who's helped me very much. And without him, my win wouldn't have been possible.
very exciting. It's a wonderful boat. Ryan's an excellent driver. It's just been a pleasure to race with him. It's been great.
Although the decision's been a little bit funny and one or two people haven't really seen eye to eye with it, I think that at the end of the day, we've got to go by the organising committee, and the organising committee said it was a win. And I think that if we don't go by the organising committee, then the whole structure of powerboat racing just falls apart.
I just think the organisation over here is second to none. I think it's terrific. I think other organisations should take note of the Guernsey people, because they're really nice people and they look after us very well.
We were running alongside Divan for about a lap and a half, and when he fell by the wayside, we actually backed off quite considerably to save the engines for Sunday. And that was very good for us, because the engines obviously is a main concern. These engines now have done approximately 4.5 races, and we obviously want to win the Gold Cup on Sunday.
I think the trophy is excellent. I've never seen a trophy like it. I think it's nice to see that Guernsey put up a trophy like that. It's a shame we can't take it home with us. I hear that the winner has to leave it here, but it's a super trophy that goes that you can take home.
Monday, day 9. 10 starters in Class 1, 9 starters in Class 2. The sea is less than forecast, but still high enough to throw these big boats around. Mercury Special is first in Class 2. 1 minute later, the Tolman brothers in Cougar 22. Cougar 25 is first in Class 1. Second place goes to Baby Cressy. third Pozziginori, then Gancia de Gancia and Paul Pico, just 2 minutes separating the first 4 Class 1 boats. Sleuth is still on the course. She'll finish third in Class 2. Annabella, Rocky and Miss Ricard from Class 1 complete in that order. Geoff Brazier's Visions of Guernsey suffered mechanical problems in her maiden race and retired, as did Sun International. The fact that 6 of the 9 starters in Class 2 retired seems to vindicate the organisers' decision to cancel the smaller classes. Prizes are presented by the Lieutenant Governor, Sir Alexander Boswell, but several protests have been registered which affect the final standings, and as a result, the winners of a number of trophies are still to be decided. Boat number 35, Pozziginori, had finished third today, which would place her second in the European Championship. But during the race, the upper wing of her distinctive aerofoil had broken away. Boat 46, Gancia de Gancia, had registered a protest about the incident. The outcome of this protest will affect Baby Cressy. If the protest is disallowed, she will win the championship. The Guernsey Gold Cup is also affected by protest, as Baby Cressy, second today, has questioned the eligibility of Cougar 25. If this protest is upheld and Cougar 25 disqualified, the winner's points will go to Baby Cressy, giving her the Gold Cup. With all these factors still in the balance, the prize giving isn't the grand finale everyone had hoped for. Nevertheless, there were enough trophies to brighten up the occasion with winners' smiles and celebrations. In the following days, the local protest jury produced their judgment. They ruled that Pozziginori was negligent in that they failed to prevent the aerofoil from breaking free, and upheld the protest by Gancia de Gancia. This decision was appealed against and went to the protest committee of the Royal Yachting Association for further consideration. The local jury rejected Baby Cressy's protest against Cougar 25's eligibility, which left Baby Cressy in second place for the Monday race. She thus tied with Cougar 22 for top points in the Guernsey event. The winner of the Gold Cup was decided by the rule covering the greater percentage of speed increase second over first race, which was achieved by Cougar 22. The Tolman twins thus became the winners of the first Guernsey Gold Cup and the £6,000 purse. Despite the problems which occurred during the event, the Guernsey International Powerboat Week 87 will be remembered for its displays of good seamanship and good sportsmanship.